As many of you know, I am within my first year of being in AP. I love it. I really, really do. I'm not just saying that because I think people from my district are going to watch this. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And wow, subscribe, yeah, that word. And if you are coming back, welcome again. So we're going to be talking about the roles and responsibilities of an assistant principal. As many of you know, I am within my first year of being in AP. I love it. I really, really do. I'm not just saying that because I think people from my district are going to watch this, but I really do love the job, what it stands for, and what I'm able to get done through my role alone. Now, before I went and applied for this position, I was looking for more information about what assistant principals actually do outside of discipline, transportation. Like, what do they do? What's the work behind the scenes? How do they engage inside of the work? How do they partner with the principal, not overstep? How do they play second appropriately? All of those things I was trying to find online. I did find a few things just about how to properly interview for an assistant principal position. What are some of the things that principals may be looking for when they are finding that perfect partner that fits their campus? But again, when it gets into the nuts and bolts about what an assistant principal does, I struggled. I really did. So it is no secret, again, that I took this position in the middle of a pandemic. And when I tell you, I am so glad I did. I have just grown, not only as a leader, but also as an educator, a friend, a spouse, just all together. Nothing really prepares you for this position. However, I do think there are practical steps you can take in the position that you're in to be developed as a leader, a good leader, a great leader. So let's go ahead and break this down. Now, throughout my journey of being an assistant principal, I have been documenting everything that I've been asked to do. And then also from my mentor, other assistant principals, I've really just been collecting all of this information. And I'm going to try to bring this to you in a very concise way. So when you're thinking about the role of an assistant principal, I'm breaking it up into 6 umbrellas, 6 overall umbrellas. Now, of course, when you get inside of each umbrella, you are gonna have a lot of raindrops. So I'm just gonna give you an overview of what to expect when you're going into this position. And then a really important thing that I wanna add to it is what that specific umbrella requires of you. Let's go ahead and jump right in. First, as an assistant principal, you will need to be heavily involved in the curriculum, period. Right now, yes, we are kind of isolated in our offices due to COVID-19. But if we were in another world or whatever, you would need to be in those classrooms. So now that we are in this unique situation, I still recommend that you mask up as best as you can. And then also virtually, you can tune in virtually to check out what's going on in those classrooms, but you do need to be involved in curriculum. Now, some things that kind of go under being involved in curriculum that you should think about going into this position is that you will need to be an instructional leader first. You have to know your content. There is no way around it. When you are getting hired for that assistant principal position, they may be upfront with you and say, hey, we are looking for a math curriculum assistant principal or an ELA, whatever it may be. But a lot of times you are getting hired for the position alone and you won't know which content area you are going to be overseeing. So again, I do want to advise you to make sure that you are an instructional leader first. Also, I think it's important to be an instructional advocate. And if you don't know how to advocate for yourself, definitely put a pause on becoming an assistant principal. Principals don't want anybody who's just gonna go with the flow and just, look, be an instructional advocate. Know what your students need, know what your teachers need, know what is best for them. And I'm not talking about what's in the books. Actually do your research and know what is best for your students and teachers in that moment. Also, make sure that you are a mentor for your instructional coach. So I have the pleasure of working with a first-year instructional coach, and you all, she is amazing. She literally makes my job so much easier. I had the opportunity to be her math instructional coach last year, so we both got promotions this year. But I definitely want to say one of the biggest feedback, strengths that she has shared with me is just me always wearing the hat of a mentor. I am always willing to give wisdom, insight, tips. I'm resourceful, but I'm also a sponge. I want to know what she knows. I want to know how we can mesh the vision of the principal together with our instructional needs, instructional desires, and make it the best experience for our students and our teachers. So definitely make sure that you are mentoring your instructional coach. We meet weekly every Monday, the top of the week, to see what's going down and what's happening for the rest of the week. So make sure before you apply for this position, or maybe you are an assistant principal, that you are blocking off time to mentor your instructional coach. Also, under the big umbrella of curriculum, of course, is data analysis. You must know your numbers. That is a requirement. You want to know who are those students who will be pulled for small groups. How many students do I have in tier 2? How many students do I have in tier 3? How many of those students will be testing in Spanish? How many in English? You need to know your numbers, not only for the purposes of STAR, but also just in general. You need to know what is that standard that is most difficult every single year. It is just tough for us. What are those goals? How often are you looking at those numbers? Okay, data analysis. Next, as an assistant principal, you will be in charge of monitoring grades. So of course, depending on what school district you're in, you're going to have this platform where all of the teachers are going to insert their grades and attendance and everything. As a leader, a campus leader, you want to make sure you are staying on top of that. It is very important that you are advocating. Hold on, like we were talking about advocating instructionally, but don't forget about your parents. Our parents deserve to know where their child stands at any given moment. So you want to make sure that you are advocating on behalf of the parents, that our teachers are updating those grades weekly. As you can probably tell, that is one of my tasks, and I take it very seriously. And another thing in the curriculum realm is printing progress reports and report cards. That is probably going to fall on your plate. So you want to make sure that you know everything from how to check that they've inserted their grades, grade corrections, all the way to printing it. And your prospective school districts will be training you on that. So when thinking about this entire umbrella of curriculum, that is going to require time management and prioritization. You're gonna have to know how to manage your time and let go of that white space. Let go of all these other little duties that you're gonna find out in the position, and make sure you focus on that one thing that is most important. And then also prioritizing. So that's curriculum, all right? So the next umbrella of being an assistant principal is master scheduling. Now, this is one of those things where you can't really I want to say know much about this unless you're in that area, but I do think there are some practical steps you can take in the position that you're in to help you at least prepare for it. So within the umbrella of master scheduling, you are going to have to determine who are those homeroom teachers and who are those partner teachers. So that's not going to be you by yourself. That's going to be yourself, your principal, and whoever else the principal calls in. However, you are most likely going to be inputting that into whatever system your school district uses. So each teacher will be assigned one or more content areas, and then if they are not self-contained, they will have partner teachers. Also, with master scheduling, that is going to include assigning content areas to that specific teacher, and assigning students to homerooms. That is extremely important, especially in this, again, unique time of COVID-19. You may have a homeroom teacher who only is catering to the learning on campus students, or you may have one that is catering to your virtual students who are learning at home. So you want to make sure that you are extremely organized and you know exactly what is going on. You have your systems down tight so you don't get confused. And that is going to require organization. I have binders, I have my Google Drive, but it's not messy. I do want to say that you have to be very, very organized and consistent. So the next big thing that assistant principals have to be over or take the lead on is transportation. Now, I know a lot of you may be laughing because, I mean, when you see the memes and everything about assistant principals, that's at the top of their list after discipline. But transportation is actually more important than you think. So first, you are going to have a system. I'll just give you that really quick. This is going to require systems. You have to know how to put systems in place and communicate that to the entire staff. So you need to know the student mode of transportation. In a later video, I'm going to talk about how I created all of these different systems to where it flows and the teachers know exactly where to go. Also keep in mind of how families are going to request to change transportation model for their students' systems. Also, what's gonna happen when a parent needs to pick up their child early? Okay, some of you may be like, well, no, you just go get the child, tell them to go home. No, you need to create a system in place. How is that teacher gonna be made aware? What reminders are going to be put out? What happens if another family member comes to pick up that child, but the child has left early? Systems. Okay. So far we have talked about curriculum, master scheduling, transportation. Now we are going to drop down to health and safety. Huge. I mean, look where we are now, okay? This is going to require advocacy. Yes, you are going to have to be a hard advocate for this. I will say a lot of times it kind of get laxed around the campus because we're used to it. We spend 8 to 10 hours a day there. However, as an assistant principal, if this falls on your lap, look, it's 2 assistant principals at the campus where I am. This is not on my plate, but when I tell you my partner who is over health, safety, security, she's amazing at it, okay? I'm gonna have to invite her in one of these videos so she can break it all down to you. But big things under that is communicating the COVID-19 updates. We are not sure how long we are going to be in this situation, but you want to make sure whatever is being funneled down from the leadership of your district, you want to make sure that you are on top of it with updating your community. Also, classroom arrangements. That, in my mind, falls under health and safety. You want to make sure that there is proper distancing, or let's say this pandemic didn't exist. You still want to make sure that it is tidied, decluttered. There is a lot of things that can happen if you walk into a classroom that is chaotic. Also, we can't forget about those fire drills, lockdowns. and everything else. Look, teachers, if you are watching this, I know that y'all get annoyed. I know, because I was there. However, when I tell you it is so critical, so important that we spend time doing that. And again, that is going to require advocacy. So next, the big umbrella is academic special programs. Academic special programs. That is your EIT, RTI, SPED, then you have ARTS, IEPs. If you do not know what those acronyms mean, I want you to pause this, look in the description below so you can know what all of those mean. Do not go into this position and at minimum don't know what those mean. But I do encourage you, if you are interested, to go a little bit deeper into what each of those mean, stand for, how it looks in a classroom setting. And I'll be sure, if you all are interested, just leave a comment below if you want me to break each of those down. Me personally, I am over RTI, the EIT team. I assist with ARTS. I'm kind of all up in the mix with that. So I do have some knowledge on that. And that is going to require knowledge. You want to know what this means. This directly affects students, as everything do, but this one is like super serious. This is the law, okay? The last umbrella is evaluation. Now, I put that last just because you hear about that first. When you hear about administrators at all, whether it's a principal or an assistant principal, you are always hearing about some type of evaluation. They come in my classroom for 10 minutes. They sit there, they don't look around. They always come in when really least expected. And then as soon as they walk out is when we really start popping and everything in the classroom. I get it. So here, evaluations aren't going anywhere. We definitely have to inspect what we expect. So I'm sorry, teachers, if you are watching this. Sorry, administrators, if you kind of really don't like doing that. It puts you in an awkward position. This actually is important. So just keep in mind that as far as evaluations, you may be evaluating teachers across grade levels. You won't necessarily only be evaluating first grade teachers. That's not how that works. You'll also probably be evaluating across content areas. So right now, under my bucket, it's math. But that isn't to say that my principal may say, okay, I need you to go observe here in a reading classroom, or the science lesson, or the social studies lesson. So you want to make sure that you are extremely flexible. And then also across languages. I do not speak Spanish at all. However, I may be required to go in and evaluate in a bilingual classroom. You want to make sure that you have things in place to where you can successfully evaluate. Now, this is going to require two things: honesty and humbleness. Honesty and humbleness. I'm gonna let you think about that for a second. We do not want to enter into somebody's classroom wearing this power cap, to where literally when we come in, it stresses them out, they start sweating, they tighten up, they can't flow as loosely. Make sure you are building those relationships prior to going in there. So when you go in, it's more of you being an educational partner, or all of those nice words that we hear. Bottom line, just do not be intimidating when you go into a teacher's classroom. Okay, boom. So what is the one thing that'll change everything if you focus on it? This past Sunday, we were bringing in the New Year's, and my husband and I were watching this sermon, and our pastor stated that, and it literally just shook me up. So again, what is the one thing that'll change everything if you were to focus on it? If you are an assistant principal, or if you are desiring to be one, make sure you are really thinking about that. How will you communicate information? What systems will you put in place? How will you limit the amount of emails that you send out to teachers, y'all? We be blowing teachers up with these emails. We got to get a little bit more creative on how we distribute this information. I'm gonna just put a quick plug in. Use a Google Drive, like literally create a Google Drive folder that says blah, 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 elementary Google Drive 2021. Pile all that information in there. Now, don't just put it in there to where it is sorted and organized. Make sure you have additional folders in there, but you all please get creative and do not overwhelm the teachers with the emails, because the reality is they can't check it. They're actually teaching and they have a 30-minute lunch break, which really is about 20 minutes. So boom, you see, I'm advocating for you all teachers. There you go. Merry Christmas. So last but not least, how will you monitor your expectations? I am not just saying, okay, I am going to do walkthroughs once a day. That is a form of monitoring, but how are you collecting all of this data? How are you going to monitor the trends from classroom to classroom, across content areas, across grade levels? How are you going to do that? So that's all I have. Just a quick recap. Big umbrellas. We have curriculum. You want to make sure that you're an instructional leader, master scheduling, transportation, health, safety, and security, academic special programs, and evaluation. So hopefully you gained something from this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have an amazing school year.